the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow.
Another early morning, but today is different. It's the start of a new quarter. And for those who've been around, they know what that means.
Round your city, round the clock. Everybody needs you. No, you can't make everybody equal. Although you got buku family, you don't even got nobody being honest with you. Breathe till I evaporated. My whole body see-through, transportation handmade. And I know it's
That'll be the last call for today. I just wrapped up 2 customer meetings and 1 internal call. And I'm gonna go away for those solo retreats, something I do the start of a quarter. I'm not gonna go into exactly why I'm doing this, but to set the tone, I want to share a story why this is so important for me. So Q1 last year, 2024, my company went bankrupt. I lost all my money in the process, but even worse, I lost myself. I was overworked, stressed out, I started gaining weight, I was a horrible boyfriend, I lost my relationships, and it took me a while to get back to it. And the thing is, I already knew that Q4 out of 2023, I knew the company was gonna fail. But I was so busy in the day-to-day, it just kept on going. I thought if I just work a little bit harder, if I send a couple more emails, if I just follow through this, it's gonna sort itself out. But if I would just give myself some peace and quiet, give myself some clarity, I would have been able to figure out that what I was doing back then wasn't working. Either I had to make a pivotal change, or shut it down, soften the blow. Instead, I just kept going. I was putting all my money into it. I was just getting more and more stressed, and it ended up ruining me. So instead, what I'm doing is that every quarter, I go away for a goals realignment. Sometimes it's a matter of just making sure, am I continuing in the right direction to reach my goals? In other cases, it may so be that your goals have changed since last quarter. Because it doesn't matter how hard you work. If you're working in the wrong direction, you will never get anywhere. So I take these retreats to go out in nature and ground myself. Really think, is this still my goals? And if so, what are the actual needing these? Not responding to emails, be reactive to when employees are reaching out or whatever. What are the high level things I need to get done to actually get to where I'm trying to go? Let's go. So, goal realignment, soul retreat, whatever you want to call it. What is it and what is my process? Well, first off, I try to get out in nature. I try to do some type of exercise, hike, or whatever it may be. Because you need to enter a state of clarity, which means you need to be at peace. And I think the best way to do so is to go out in the nature. Once I've done that, I start picturing what is my ultimate goal that I'm striving for. So my 10, 20, 30, 40-year goal down the line. Once I've aligned myself with that, I break down the goals for the coming year. And then once I know the goals for the coming year, I try to break down those into sub-goals that I need to achieve this coming quarter in order to enable that longer 1-year goal to happen. And once I have those goals clearly lined out, and I try not to keep them too many, and I make sure that it always is ambitious enough for me to get excited about them, but they need to be realistic so I can achieve at least 75% of them in this coming 3 months. And I group these goals in 5 different pillars, which I think is essential to live a wealthy life, which is health, your body, love, happiness, purpose, and wealth, money. So 5 to 10 of those goals maybe. And when I have them, I try to break them down into what are the habits, what is the daily inputs or weekly inputs I need to do, because I can't control the outputs. I can only really control the inputs. So an example, if I want to gain 3 kilos of muscles, I can't really control the output, but what I can control is, for example, I should to a minimum eat 120 grams of protein at least 5 days per week. And I should do some type of resistance training at least 4 times a week. Because if I consistently hold those inputs, those habits for the coming 3 months, it's very likely that I will achieve that outcome. Once I've created all the habits I need to have, that's when I get into the most exciting part. I try to visualize them. So I create a little collage, I bring in pictures to assemble. So there's a mix of the both, long-term goal, the 1-year goal, and the 3-month sub goals. So I take pictures from Pinterest and Google or whatever, and I create this little collage, and I set that as my background screen on the computer. So I look at it every single day. That's essentially my process for these little solar retreats. So I'm gonna turn off my phone, I'm gonna go for a hike, and I'm gonna go into it. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I'm back in SF. So I'm about to head off, but I felt like I had to say a couple of words before leaving this beautiful place and the mind state that I'm currently in. I've had the most productive evening that I've had in a very long time, and I feel like I have so much clarity now for what I need to do the coming 3 months. I got a ton of motivation, and I'm extremely pumped for just getting to work now. And I think there's a thing that I wrote here in my journal that I think was Tony Robbins who said, "You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private." And I think it's so easy to go online or look at the TV and see these athletes or entrepreneurs do these big things. But what you forget is that they can do that because they have practiced and worked on that for years on end. And the things that I'm going to put in motion here in Q4, which I think is going to be the biggest quarter of my life, is things that I've been working and manifesting on for well over 1.5 years now. My last video on YouTube sort of popped off, and I got a lot of people who has asked me in my DMs, especially guys 18 to 22 years old, asking me what they should do and how they can get to money and so on. And it's very obvious that these guys have been on YouTube and watched all these gurus on how to do SMMA, drop shipping, or whatever pyramid schemes that's out there. And don't get me wrong, I've been there myself. I was also, when I was in my early 20s and late teens, Googling on YouTube how to make money online. I tried all of them. I didn't fail, but I'm sure you can if you're putting your head to it. But I think you're approaching business in the wrong way then. It's a state of chasing money. And surely you can get access to money that way, but you're gonna have to continue to chase it to get more. Instead, if you focus on building up your knowledge and building assets, and you can figure out how to get those to generate you money, they will continue to generate you money, and that is going to compound. So it's going to be much better for you in the long run. And if you boil it down, business is essentially you providing value to other people, companies, or the world. And if you do so, universe rewards you with money. And I think a big reason to why I started with YouTube is because I think a lot of people got a false sense of what entrepreneurship is, and I want to show an alternative way. Bear in mind, I've been working hard for a decade now. I started my first business when I was 16. And, I've achieved a lot less than others if you compare my age. But I don't work in terms of what I will make next month. I work in terms of decades. And I'm playing the long game, and I think that's going to benefit me in the long run. And maybe you should too. Let's wrap up. Head back to San Francisco.
I woke up to the morning sky first, baby blue just like we rehearsed. Che vuole questa musica stasera, che mi riporta un poco del passato. La luna ci teneva compagnia, io ti sentivo mia, soltanto mia, soltanto mia. Vorrei tenerti qui vicino a me.
I've almost finished this book already, started reading it this week, and honestly it's one of the most inspiring books I've read in a really long time. It's about living as an artist, and I think it directly translates to what we're doing with building businesses. And I came across this chapter called Patience that really spoke to me. It's something that I've been struggling with a lot, especially in my younger years. You want things to happen now, right? And even though things may move in the speed of light, it still feels like it's too slow. But we definitely undervalue the importance of patience. It's the work and the effort that we put into things that makes them valuable. What do I mean by that? Well, I have a lot of goals. None of them is actual money, but most of my dreams requires money to fulfill, to bring into reality. But if someone could come and give me a lottery ticket today that would have all the money in order to fulfill these dreams, I still wouldn't want them. Because I know that part of the fulfillment of creating these things I want to create will lie in the fact that I've taken myself to the position to fulfill them myself. Because I will know how much effort, how much time and energy I put in to get myself to a position where I can actually do them. And that's going to be part of the fulfillment. So what am I saying this? I know it can be frustrating right now, especially if you're younger, but know this, that all the effort you're putting in now is part of the process. So try to enjoy the hardship, try to enjoy the setbacks and those lonely hours spent at the computer screen in your home, grinding away. Because those hours is what will make and is preparing you for the greater cause you're working for, even though you're not realizing it right now.
You were running blind, following your feet to try and outrun your fate, standing in a field of flowers, cerebral voices.
If I look tired, it's because I am. We were up till 7 this morning at a Techno Concert, and I had to go up at 10 already to leave back the car, because tomorrow I'm not just leaving SF, I'm leaving the States for a while. And honestly, I'm more disappointed about handing back the car than leaving the city. For most people, a 911 is just a stiff, harsh, unpractical car that makes completely no sense. But if you're anything like me, cars invoke so much more emotions, from the curves to the design to the feeling you get getting in and out of it to turning on the ignition. It just never ceases to amaze me. But I'm dedicated to my habits. One of them is to do 1 hour of deep work per day. So despite being tired, I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm gonna head to the gym. I'm currently doing a 5 workout per week split: push, pull, legs, bike, and swim. I've been doing it for the past 4 weeks and I thoroughly enjoy it. And for once, I'm not gonna procrastinate, and I'm gonna get the packing done today as well. So let's get into it. Guys, read more books. Books is by far the best way to pack knowledge into your brain. And if you need advice on what to read, I have a book list. Just send a DM on Instagram and I'll send it over.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. Me and Lil Sandra bagging CDs in a bubble wrap. People recognize me from the TV, but I'm done with that. People don't want to see me succeed, this shit come with that. Even when I come back, I don't know if it's me that's gonna be coming back. Soon as I left, I had to make peace with that. Dropped out of school, cause nobody was teaching that. The best Westerns where...
Alright, I'm finally done for tonight, and I'm so excited to go back to Europe tomorrow actually. And don't get me wrong, I love the US. I wouldn't consider any other place to do business. Americans in general are just way more opportunistic than I think anywhere else. And given the size of the country, if you get it to work somewhere, you can easily scale it. But I want to leave you off with a little mindset that I've adopted in the past years, which is a hard-earned lesson. So in previous companies, when, for example, we didn't meet our download targets for our app, I was blaming our CMO for not applying our go-to-market strategy correctly. Or when we had some problems with our technical side, I was blaming our CTO. But blaming rarely gets you anywhere. Instead, have a mindset of full accountability. Everything is your fault, which sounds kind of harsh, but for example, in this case, if our sales team isn't performing, maybe it's me who hasn't motivated them enough, or maybe it's me who hasn't given them the right tools to do the work in the best way. Or maybe the KPIs we set is unrealistic. Anyway, that's it for this week. Peace.